Wow. So we have our 15 Pro Max charging at its near full speed, 27 watts. And then we have the power bank charging at its full 140 watt speed. That's freaking nutty, dude. What the heck? All right, let's plug in the MacBook and see what happens. Okay, that's even more impressive. What? That's crazy. What's going on, YouTube? This is What Would Josh Do, and this is a super exciting video. I've been asked about this thing so many times. I haven't gotten it because I spend my own money on Anker products. Anker does not send me things for review. I have to purchase them with my own money, and this has been a bigger purchase than I thought, and I haven't gotten it yet. And plus, when I was planning on buying it, you couldn't buy it. And all of you in the comments were definitely noticing that and keeping track of that as well. So thank you for that. But this became available. Then I saw yesterday, as you can see, I ordered it yesterday. It was delivered today. I bought it because it was 31% off, the lowest it's ever been. It is currently this price as of filming. And if you follow me on Twitter, YouTube, like the YouTube community page, or Instagram, you know that this right here has been my go-to. I charge my Pixel 8 Pro and my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Each of them charge at 30 watts using this. This is why I love this thing. It charges both of my devices that I carry every single day at their full rated speed. This is exciting because I've had this thing since it launched over a year ago now, and I love it. It is the 737. This is the successor to it. A lot more features, and it can charge even faster. I'm excited to demo that and show you just how fast this thing can charge. I'm a nerd. I go over specs and features and how fast things charge. So there's some specs on the side there. 250 watts. So the USB-C 1 and USB-C 2 can do up to 28 volts and 5 amps. So there you go. We're going to pull out the power bank, which weighs quite a bit. And we're immediately greeted by those, there's actually a subreddit where it's like things with faces. This one definitely more resembles a meh. This one, you're really stretching to see it there, but it's still kind of there. I do really wish they would have went with like up to 4 USB-C instead of the USB-A, because I wonder how many people actually use that on a power bank that's this massive. All right, we do get a 140 watt cable here. It says maximum 140 watts. We do get a quick start guide. And then we get a carrying pouch. All right, taking a closer look at the power bank itself. It's pretty basic. It's got nothing on the left. On the bottom, we have the little pins. So just like this guy, we have the base next to us we're going to use to charge. And if you look at the last one, there were no pins on the bottom. On this side, we just have the one button. You either long press it or short press it. And then we have our USB-C in and out, and then USB-C in and out. Now the difference being this one only has one input. I really liked that because my Anker Power Core 2800, it's a Powerhouse, Powerhouse 2800. It can accept up to 60 watts in on one port and 60 on the other for a total of 120 watts. And I used this output port to input into the giant power bank that has an AC inverter in it. That way I can keep it topped off. Now, the problem when you have an in and out, which device wins? Which device is the input and which device is the output? Who's the pitcher? Who's the catcher? You know? So it's good and bad to have in and out on both ports, in my opinion, for my use case. So I'm going to press it. Nothing's going to happen. Anker has their own desktop charger, but I have not purchased it, and I'm not going to purchase it. And Bassi sent me their 240 watt desktop charger, and I'm going to use it because supposedly this thing can charge at 140 watts on one input and some additional watts on the other to charge it like, I believe, 170 watts total. So I've got two matching cables that go up to 240 watts. I'm just going to plug in one for now. And then the unit turned on. And this is going to like activate the battery. So as you can see, we're charging at about 130 watts. It was only at 1%. So what if I take another one here? Also, keep an eye on this little screen right here for the total output. Now, I'm assuming that this power bank is going to be just like this power bank, where if it's at 0%, it will not charge at its full 65 watts until it gets to about 15%. Once it gets to 15%, then it opens up. It's full throttle. You get 65 watts of input. While it's charging and getting up to its full charging speed here, so I can press the button twice to disable Bluetooth. There's no information yet because this is its first recharge cycle. And here, if we long press... Oh, so on this one it's different. You double press. All right, so now we're at 30 minutes timeout. In here, we'll double press to change the brightness to high. So there we go. Now, Anker has Bluetooth on this. So when you download the app, you'll want to either create an account or sign in. Obviously, this is personal. Like, you can choose whether you do it or don't do it. After logging in, I'm at the home screen. I'm going to add a device. It found the power bank. And look at that. It's telling me that the power bank has a firmware. And it wants the power bank to be at a 30% charge. In here, you can see the percentage. And you can see that port 1 is 19.6 volts at 2.4 amps. And this one's at 27.9 volts and 2.6 amps. And so you can see the total input. And if we were outputting anything, it would show it there. And then you can add a device. So you can do a phone. You can name it. What's the battery capacity on a Pixel 8 Pro?
I found this on the web.
So 5,050 milliamp hours. It doesn't give us a health percentage, so we'll just say it's 100. In here, it's telling me my Pixel 8 Pro can be charged less than half a time right now. And now at this point, we're just currently waiting for the power bank to accept full input once the battery gets like conditioned enough. You can see right here that it says 122. This shows the 2 right there with the time remaining and the percentage. And then this shows that we're doing a total of 119 watts. I also want to say in the short time that we've been filming, this went from just 1% all the way to 20%. All right, we've been charging 122 watts since we first turned this thing on. At what percentage does this battery allow full charging speeds to go to 100%? Like, come on. Once this gets to about 31%, I'm going to go ahead and apply that firmware update and see if maybe that fixes the... I'm pretty sure by now it should be ramped up to its full charging input. All right, so I turned off charging. Unplug the cables. Hey, we get a neat little animation. Look at that. It says, upgrading, please wait. All right, wow, that is definitely not a quick process. It's currently 17:13 and it's almost done. I don't remember exactly what time it started, but we will be able to see that when we're editing the video. So that took at least a few minutes. And the update is continuing. This is awesome for you guys that are tempted to get this. Oh, check mark. So it's good. Upgrade complete, restarting. This is pretty awesome because you guys can also expect to know how long it should take to recharge. Or, I'm sorry, you'll also be able to see how long it took mine to update and know that if yours is taking that long, that is perfectly fine. It says the update was successful. We're at 17:15. And now we can see that we are currently on the latest firmware. Did it show the temperature before? I can't even remember if before the update it showed the temperature or not. All right, so we're going to do this test with a 140 watt max cable and a 140 watt max cable and a 140 watts max cable. And we're going to use Anker 140 watt charger. And then we're going to use an Anker 100 watt charger. We'll do the 140 watt charger to the first port and the 100 watt to the second port. These Anker 140 watt chargers are not the best chargers. They're hit or miss. Basically, it's just hoping that it works this time. All right, so I can't get this one to work. Unfortunately, we have to use the fastest charger because it's 140 watts. And there we go. Same cable, everything works on the first try. The watts is going up. And then we'll use this Bassius 100 watt charger. All right, there's a little bit of a difference there. Getting 75 and 76 for 150 watts. That charging time remaining is pretty cool. And then if we look at the wall outlets, this one's drawing 85, this one's drawing 82. And now this thing's going to be done charging in less than 30 minutes. That is pretty crazy to see those speeds. 150 watts total input. All right, let's let this charge up and I'll be back. All right, so it took some digging. As you can see, we're charging at 81 watts and 77 watts for a total of 158, which is pretty good. And here it says that if you use both USB-C inputs, it can do 170 watts. It's going to do that once it reaches 55%. I'm guessing that's when the battery is conditioned enough to do it. There's some more information. I was not able to find that in the instruction manual. Luckily, Amazon had it under the listing. Soon here, the battery is going to reach 70%. So that's some pretty impressive numbers still. I won't do 170 continuous. I'm guessing 150 is the go-to, like 120 to 150 is the go-to speed for recharging this guy. And one of the cool things is you can optimize your charging. And as you can see, under recharge, you can get optimized charging and then output optimized charging. So that's pretty cool. You can extend the life of the battery of the power bank. This is a kind of expensive power bank, so I don't see that being a bad choice. 160 watts. You love to see it. Now this battery is getting a little warm now. All right, so according to our temperature, looks like we're reaching about 39 C. Yeah, 39.5 C. 42. She is definitely a little warm. Those chargers are definitely doing their job too. One's going at 87.5 and one's going at 91. And on here it also says that the temperature is 41 Celsius. That is accurate to what I'm seeing on here as well. Now I'm curious what happens if I optimize the charging. Oh, it digs down to a time period. And you can set a chart. So what about this one as well? Okay, so you can like set intervals and stuff. All right, so clearly this thing recharges hella freaking fast. You gotta love it. But we're gonna go ahead and interrupt the charging. All right, so I just put it on its base, which charges at 100 watts. So the good thing about using this is when you're charging at 170 watts, you're throwing a lot of power into this battery very quickly. So 100 watts is going to be a much more efficient way of charging, meaning your battery will last longer in here if you only charge this guy at 100 watts. And if you crank it up to 170 when, you really need that power, you need this thing charged for a trip or to go to work or something. So as you can see, the base is going at 100 watts. This little option down here popped up. It also reflects on this screen that it's going to be recharged in 8 minutes. And it's going at 100 watts. And the temperature got to 45 degrees. So it's a little bit warm, but not that warm. Not concerning. I've seen like some desktop chargers get to 62 Celsius. So that's not nearly as bad as it could be. Now, I have let both of my phones get very low because I wanted to see how fast they could be recharged. So we'll plug in our iPhone 15 Pro Max, and then we'll plug in our 8 Pro. And all right, as you should be able to see, the iPhone is charging at 8.8 volts, 2.9 amps for 25, almost 26 watts. It's using a fixed voltage, and the Pixel 8 Pro is charging using PPS, so programmable power supply, And what that means is you'll be able to charge your Samsung devices at super fast charging. So we're going at 8.9 volts, 3 amps for 27.5 watts. That's pretty awesome. And one thing I'd like to point out is both of these devices are charging using PPS. Okay, so that one did switch on the left. So the app shows me that port 1's charging at 28 watts, port 2's charging at 27 watts. I wish it showed more information. It does not show us what charging protocol that it's using, and that's something that the competitor's power bank can do. It'll tell you whether it's using PPS or fixed voltage or, whatever it is that it's using. This just says the volts, the amps, and the watts. Now, under real-time data, I can go to C1 and see the power is 28 and see a graph. And also, it's going at 3.1 amps, and the voltage is 9.3. And then I can change it to port 2 and view the same thing. So this is a pretty neat little thing. It would just be nice if it gave you that little bit of extra data. Maybe that's possible with a firmware update. That would be something that I would absolutely love to see. And I added the iPhone. It is apparently a 4,422 milliamp hour battery. And right now it can be charged at 3.2 times. All right, now that I plugged this in, it says this is using PPS. And that's using a fixed voltage. Interesting. The 8 Pro was always getting PPS. And the 7 Pro was defaulting to fixed. But now it's changing. So let's switch the ports around. All right, it's getting PPS. Interesting. Okay, so they're both getting PPS. All right, I definitely still have some more testing to do. Okay, so the good news is it has been a couple minutes and we're still using PPS on both. So that's awesome. I'm going to unplug this phone because it's almost done charging. And now I plugged in my MacBook Pro 14-inch M1. It charges at 100 watts maximum. Unfortunately, I don't have a device that charges at 140 watts besides other power banks. So I don't really have a way of showing the output at 140 watts. And my MacBook's at 80 something percent, so it's not going to charge at its full speed for long. But as you can see, it did go to 100 watts there for a moment. And this guy's still using PPS. And on here we can see 92 watts and 24.8 watts. All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug in a third device. We have our Pixel 8 Pro charging, and we have our MacBook charging. Let's plug in the iPhone. And it's charging at a very sad 7.4 watts. Wah, wah, wah. All right, so we have our iPhone charging. Wow, that's actually quite impressive. So we have our 15 Pro Max charging at its near full speed, 27 watts. And then we have the power bank charging at its full 140 watt speed. That's freaking nutty, dude. What the heck? That's awesome. All right, let's plug in the let's plug in the MacBook and see what happens. Okay, that's even more impressive. It's charging this power bank at 140 watts, and it's charging the laptop at near 100. What? That's crazy. This freaking power bank is definitely my best one. Wow. I don't have a better power bank than this right now. This is the ultimate top freaking dog. Oh my gosh. 140 watts input and almost 100 watts output. What? And it shows down here the input and the output. All right, slow down because, again, my laptop is near full. Wow. Wow. There's not much this thing can't do. All right, this has been a longer video, but just wow. Wow. This thing is incredible, and it absolutely dominates this guy right here. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. I also post to my YouTube community, so keep an eye on that. This is What Would Josh Do, and I'm out.